I know you guys are waiting for the pink tourmaline ring to get done. Unfortunately, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer because I have a more important project that I would like to do. Nothing like trying to melt gold and having your propane tank run out. So this is a refill. We are moving our Sterling catch tray out from underneath us, and we're adding our 14K catch tray. We have this massive hunk of 14K gold that we will be making into my engagement ring. I'm actually married. I've been married almost a full month. And I had a ring that I had made, and this was a long time ago, like earlier this year, long time ago. So I guess not too long ago. But I had messed up on it. Like it wasn't a great ring. And so I recently purchased this stunning 1.82 carat diamond. Let me pull it out so you can see. That's a that's a big old chonker right there. So we're gonna turn this and this into my engagement ring. Follow along with me. Hopefully it comes out really nicely. Hopefully it comes out the way I'm picturing it in my head. I'm a really simple, like, ring girl. I just want a simple solitaire, but I'm contemplating doing some pave along the ring. I'm not sure if I'm going to yet, but I guess you'll have to stick around to find out. My name is Vanessa. I am a self-taught metalsmith, and I'm the creator of With Love Jewelry. I cannot tell you how exhausting it is to roll and pull your own 14 karat wire. So far, I'm here. This isn't quite where I want it to be yet, so I've got more pulling to do. And because 14 karat is so brittle, I mean, I know 10 karat is more brittle, but I haven't rolled and pulled 10 karat yet. So I use beeswax after annealing, and I just kind of put a little beeswax coating on the whole piece so that as I pull it through my draw plate, it's a little bit, it runs a little bit smoother. It's still really difficult, but I'm not going to show you how I pull. I literally just place my draw plate on the bottom step, put my catch tray underneath it, and RDL the wire. So with a little, what's it called? With a big plier, toothed plier, I just do some Romanian deadlifts and try and pull the wire through my draw plate. I have been rolling and pulling 14 karat gold for the past at least 3 hours, and I'm dead. I'm so exhausted. This is what we're working with right now. So I have pulled my entire amount to this because if you've ever pulled 14 karat gold, you know it's super brittle. And the reason I put everything, well, two reasons that I put everything into this is because when you're getting towards the end of rolling and you get thinner and thinner, what I have found happens when I roll is where I'm pulling from, that starting point will start breaking off. So like I'll pull a little bit and it'll break off and I'll have to discard it in my scrap, and then I'll pull, another piece will break off. So I might lose like this much of wire from here. And so to be able to pull enough and to also, you know, if something ends up melting like a prong or something, I have plenty to come back to. So I am going to make my entire setting with this, melt everything down, roll it back out for the band, and then solder it all together. So this is what we're working with, and we're going to get started with the under bezel for this beauty. So round gemstones are the easiest to make under bezels for. What I normally do is eyeball it. I'll either find a mandrel that is a little bit smaller than the actual size of my gemstone, or I'll just, you know, start making a little jump ring. And if it's not the right size, I can always chop it down if I need to. This diamond measures, 7.85 in diameter. So I gotta get these are my silver files. I need to get my gold files out. I do not want to use my silver files on my gold. So gold files have yellow handles. Yeah, I'm just gonna start, I guess, freehanding this a little bit. I think I'm gonna start off with these pliers, and I'll try this third smallest one. It looks like it would be a decent shape, or a decent size, I should say. And it's too big, and that's okay. It's just slightly too big. So I will just use my round nose pliers and adjust it. Now, if you end up making your under bezel a little bit too big, you can always just open up the solder seam and file away a little bit, and that works too, but I'd rather not do that. This looks better. That actually looks really good. So this is what I'm looking at. So this is not soldered, obviously, but I just want to see how it looks. And I am going to just take off the tiniest little bit from here, because I can, you know, I'm going to take off a little bit because I can just see it, even though it's not completely closed. If I hammer this or anything, I don't want it to get any larger, because then you'll be able to see it. So I'm just going to run my blade back and forth through it a little bit to make it a little smaller. It's always so different coming off of working with silver to working with gold, just because gold behaves so differently when you heat it, and it's 14 karat is super brittle compared to silver. So I want to make this as smooth as possible. Like, I want to make this whole project go nice and easy. Hopefully that's the case. When I work with silver, I use hard solder for pretty much every soldering operation, from the first one to the last one. I understand the flame control for silver and I understand the melting point of hard solder versus silver. Now with gold, it's a lot more tricky. I've heard, I'm not 100% certain, I haven't researched it yet, but I've heard that the melting temperature of hard gold solder is very close to the melting temperature of gold, which is why it's so tricky. And I generally cannot use hard for every single operation. I try and do the entire setting in the entire setting and making the ring in hard, and then when I have to solder them together, the setting to the ring shank, I usually have to use either a medium or an easy, just because things start to melt, and I don't want to do that, especially when you're at like your final soldering operation. So at the moment, I only have hard solder. I am all out of easy solder. I don't have any medium. So we're gonna see how this goes. I might have to order some lower melting solder at some point while I'm making this, because I really don't want to ruin it, but we'll see. So they are pickling right now. I still have all of this wire, but I am not going to melt this down yet until I have completely made my setting, because in the off chance, hopefully it doesn't happen, but if something happens along the way as I'm creating the setting and I need to start over, I would really prefer not to have to roll all of this out again. So once the entire setting is done, I will melt this down to create the ring shank, and then I will solder the two together, and then whatever gold I have left over is my scrap gold. But for now, here you can see that was one of the prongs that were, and once that happens, like, if you're able to shift where you're soldering a little bit, you can still use this. But I was not going to try and risk all of that when I have this gold wire ready to go. I wanted everything to be nice and clean, so let's go take it out of the pickle pot. All right, so we have our setting from the pickle pot. Everything is fully soldered. I see no issues at all. And so now we need to form our seat. And I usually struggle with determining how much metal I need to make it as short of a setting as possible. Like, I don't like high settings. Even this setting, my plan is to sink it into the ring shank so that it's not a high setting, because the original ring that I made for myself was way too high, and I just don't like high set rings, especially because I work with my hands. So because this, let's see, can you see that? That one prong is already leaning inwards. We're going to use that as the bottom because it's, already halfway where it needs to be. And we're just going to slowly fold prongs in, take metal away, fold prongs in, take metal away, until we have a really nice clean basket under our setting. So I just see a little itty bitty piece of solder on my prong that I would like to get off really quick. Where's my flat file? Here we go. So I'm just gonna file it off before it becomes impossible to remove. That's better. With baskets, you can always take metal away, but you can't add metal back. So, you know, go slow, check your work. And honestly, I like to just use my pliers, just like I would if I was setting a stone, and I just use my pliers to push the prongs over the metal or over the gemstone. For this, I just gather everything towards the center. It's really important to remember that when you're pulling everything in the center, that you're going through the imaginary center of your setting. So use the under bezel, use that circle to draw in half and in half, like where your under bezel prongs need to be pointing towards, because if they're like wonky and off to the side, it's just gonna look funny. You know what? So I was trying to use this really thin disc cutter, but somebody had sent me sanding discs, and I wonder if these would work better because I need to take off quite a bit of material of the gold. And that's so sweet. She even, oh, I don't know what this is. I don't know how to use that. Oh, I think I understand. So, okay, so that's the abrasive side. And so I think you just pinch this together and put it on. Am I correct? Maybe. Ah, there we go. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, I've never used that before. So now I have the abrasive side on the outside, but you could always put the abrasive side on the inside depending on what you need to do. So let's see how this works. I think this is going to be much better. Yeah, for sure. So all I'm doing is I'm bringing my like rounded prong end to a point so that when I push all four prongs together, they make like a neat little connection point, like crossroad. I really hope I didn't cut these too short. So you can see how they've come together really nicely. So we're gonna go solder that together now. Our setting is all soldered, and that was really scary because I was using hard solder again. But the next step is going to be to make the ring shank. So I'm going to go melt down all of my gold, the rest of that wire, and any scrap that I have, so I can roll it out to the right thickness that I want for the actual ring. So I'm rolling out my ring shank, and I realized I'm kind of bummed that it will not be able to do. I wasn't gonna try. This would have been the first time that I would have done pave along the edges or along the sides of a ring with a setting as opposed to just ring bands, like pave ring bands. So I was going to use some champagne colored sapphires and do pave along the band, but these sapphires are really big for this, and if I wanted to do that, it would make the ring shank enormous. So I'm gonna skip it, and we're just gonna do a solitaire by itself, no pave, no nothing. And honestly, that's my preference. I love just a simple solitaire, so I'm not too bummed. I can always do like a pave band with the sapphires that I could stack with the ring. So it was an epiphany. I wanted to share that with you guys, but it will just be a solitaire ring, and I still have quite a bit more to roll, so I'm going to go back to rolling. I've got my gold all rolled out. It's sitting at 2.03 millimeters, which is perfect. The lowest you can go for an engagement ring or a ring that you're wearing every single day should be 1.8 millimeters. Anything lower than that, and you're really gonna see it bend out of shape over time. It's gonna wear differently than if you have it at 1.8 or up. But the standard engagement ring is about 2 millimeters. So we are at 2.03, and I need to figure out what size I am making it. And this is just in between, just in between 6 and 6.25. And this one sits at 6.25, which I think we'll go with 6.25. There are quarter sizes. Like if you're buying custom and you're not quite a half size or a whole size, there are quarter sizes. So, measure yourself properly, have your jeweler measure you properly, and get the right size for you, because you don't want to end up with the wrong sized ring. Let's get a flat side. All right. I always go maybe a millimeter or so less than what I actually need, because when I shape this, especially with gold, 14 karat is so hard. So you're going to be whacking it quite a bit on that mandrel. So I go a little bit less than I actually need to make a perfect, true to size that I need. Because as I'm hitting it on the mandrel, it's going to expand a little bit. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go... Okay. Where are my glasses? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. I feel like Gollum.
I feel like Gollum from Lord of the Rings right now. But I mean, is this not just gorgeous in its unfinished, all hammered, nasty state? Even in this state, it's still amazingly gorgeous. But I'm going to clean this up and I am going to, I love the look of square, but I am just going to give the top edges a slight domed look, just to give it a little something, little polishedness to it. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to try and sink this just ever so slightly lower, or if I'll keep it as it is. I think I'll keep it as it is. It's pretty low. So now we get to solder the setting to the ring shank, and then we get to set the diamond, which is exciting. So, all right. I thought I had 0 easy solder left for gold. Look what I just found. Yes, I'm so excited. This is going to make, I was dreading. I literally was thinking like, should I just put this on hold and buy some like easy or medium solder so that I can solder this setting to this ring shank? Because this is thin, you know, these prongs are thin. And so trying to solder thin prongs onto a thick band using hard solder that melts at pretty much the same temperature as gold was going to suck. But I don't have to. I have easy. I'm so excited. Okay. Everything is good. Life is good. Life is amazing. So let's go solder this together and finish up my engagement ring. That was so easy. That was so easy with easy solder. Oh my goodness. So having the contrast of everything being soldered with hard solder and then being able to solder it together with easy solder just made it like a walk in the park, especially, you know, considering it had those thin prongs. I was really worried it went like a breeze. So I'm going to clean everything up and then we can actually set the diamond. I'm so excited. All right. Nice and clean. So we're just going to pull our prongs back so we have more room. These are the sapphires I wanted to pave along the... Just wanted to look. Just wanted to see what it would look like. Before you set your stone, make sure the inside of your setting is polished, because you'll never be able to polish it afterwards. If you don't have something that can fit in there to polish it, make something. You can even use like a cotton swab or a toothpick and put some, you know, cotton on there, but something. You need something to polish the inside of your setting before you set your stone. polished the inside.
I took my polishing compound. I got some cotton yarn. I threaded it through the setting, and I just flossed the setting through the polished yarn, and it comes out beautifully shiny. So if you don't have any tools for the inside of a setting, grab yourself some tweezers, get some yarn, and like fish it in there and just floss it in, and you'll have a perfect shine. So let's set this stone. Oh, where's my... Okay. This is my first time setting a diamond in a setting like this. Like, I've set diamonds with flush settings and in pave, but I've never set like a big old diamond in a prong setting. So this is exciting. If you do a lot of prong settings or claw settings, if your settings or your prongs catch on clothing, I highly recommend you get yourself a Dremel engraver, because it works to burnish the metal flat on top of the gemstone so that it's not sticking up and catches on clothing or pulls your hair or anything like that. So that's what I was just doing. I'm shaping my prongs, and then I burnish over it with the Dremel engraver so that the prongs lay completely flat on the diamond. This prong is a little bit too long. Okay. And then I am just shaping, I think it's called a bayonet file. It has two safety edges where there are no teeth and then one flat edge with teeth. So if it's not a diamond and you're worried about scratching the gemstone, you put the safety edges on the gemstone as you're filing, and you won't have, you won't file your gemstone. All right, let's clean this up, and it's done. I'm not gonna lie. I felt really bare not having my engagement ring. I had put a couple of pave bands on, like to take its place, but it's not the same. Like, I know it wasn't the same, but this ring is done. My engagement ring, my new engagement ring is done, and it's so stunning. You can't, you can't really see it from here. I'll show you guys closer once it's, is this polishing compound? Once it's, I'm done talking, but I'm a very simple, like, simple girl. I'm not going to say plain. I'm a very simple girl. I had contemplating doing pave on this, and I'm glad that I don't have the stones for this to do pave, because I would have done it just to show that I know how to do pave and look what I made. But this diamond is so, it's the main character. It doesn't need a side story, you know? So I'm just gonna make sure it fits. Uh-huh. Oh, it feels good. It feels good to be wearing my ring again. My new ring. So it's so pretty. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, I would love for you to like the video and to subscribe to my channel. It helps me grow my business, and it helps me learn more as a self-taught metalsmith what you guys like, the kind of content you like, if this is what you're looking for. So I hope you learned something from this video, or maybe you just enjoyed watching it, and I'll show you close up what it looks like. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.